Hi, welcome to Booking Through Life. I'm Mary, and today we're going to do my Victober and a few other books wrap up. I've kind of wrapped up my October as I was going along, so I only have a few books to talk about. And I thought I was going to make a short video for Monday, but I think I had more books, L.M. Montgomery books, that I had read in October than any other type of book combined. So that ended up being longer. Maybe this will end up being my shorter video. So let's wrap up Victober. So I'll kind of go through some of the books that I talked about. So I had a video where I talked about short stories. And so I went over Oscar Wilde's short stories for children, which I highly recommend, Alice in Wonderland, Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, which I gushed many times over this beautiful copy, and I loved the book, highly recommend it. And then Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell, which is just a delightful little story about a bunch of gossipy ladies in the town of Cranford. And I even, at the very last line of this book, I got teary-eyed. I think it's my month to be teary-eyed. And so those were some of the Victorian novels that I read. And then I did a whole video on The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy, where I again got emotional. It was my emotional response to this book. I love this book. I give it a 5-star. In fact, all of my Victorian literature this year were 4 or 5 stars. And then I also read, the only one that I haven't really talked about is Wilkie Collins' Hide and Seek. And this is a very good book. This is my first Wilkie Collins. I'm looking forward to reading more of his works. This was about a couple, kind of 3 families, and one's a painter. His name is Valentine, and his wife, who has a chronic illness and is laid up in bed, and they decide to adopt this young girl named Mary. They end up calling her Madonna. She's deaf. And the deaf representation in this book was very good. Wilkie Collins had read a autobiographical account of a man who he was hearing, and then he had a fall and hit his head and totally lost his hearing, and really told about what deaf life was like. And Wilkie Collins based that his character Mary, who fell when she was a little girl and lost her hearing, and so he based that character Mary on this other gentleman, and he did a fabulous job. I was very surprised and happy at what a great job he did with deaf culture and with being a deaf character. And then there's this other family. There's this young boy named Zach who is good friends with Valentine, and Mary kind of has a crush on him, but he's kind of flaky. Well, anyway, and then this mysterious man shows up, and he's got a connection somehow, and you discover that connection in the midst of this book. I will tell you that if you don't want the mystery solved before you read the book, do not look at the chapter names, because the chapter names they're spoilers. So stay away from the chapter names. And then I did love this illustration here by John Gilbert. And it's on the cover as well. Very nice. Anyway, I highly recommend this book. It's fabulous. So that was my Victober. That was it. And then I also read some spooky books. Little bit of spooky. I read Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes, which I talked about that on my Halloween video, as well as L.M. Montgomery's Among the Shadows and Monster at the End of this book. And yeah, those are, I already talked about those. So I read those this month. Then a couple of other books, two more books to talk about that I read. I read this for the Fall Into Reading Challenge. It was under mystery. I read Rhys Bowen's. It's the third in her Royal Spinous mystery series, and it's called Royal Flush. And it's about Lady Georgiana. She's 34th in line to the throne. And it's when David is the Prince of Wales and he's dating Wallis Simpson. And so it's around that time period. I forget exactly when it is, right before the, right as the World War II is kind of beginning to happen. And they're just fun little cozy mysteries. She ends up becoming kind of an amateur sleuth. She's trying to live independently, but she's poor. So yeah, she kind of gets involved. For some reason, Scotland Yard keeps asking her, and the Queen keeps asking her to kind of keep tabs on the royal family. And yeah, so it was cute. It was fun. I liked, still the first book is my favorite one thus far. This is my cat Jinx. I had some, I shared in another review of book 2 that I didn't really care for a scene where there's a near rape, and I didn't really care for some of the attitudes. One of Georgiana's friends, a girlfriend, says she has a horrible line. I can't even remember what it was about. If you're being raped, then just enjoy it. I don't know. It was awful. And I was hoping that this wouldn't come up again, because I really don't want to cancel Rhys Bowen, or at least her Royal Spinous series. But it comes up again. Georgiana interacts with the young man who attacked her, and she kind of she confronts him about it, and he gives his excuses that girls always say no just so they can say they said no when they actually want to go through with it. And Georgiana lets him know that she was serious. And I just thought that it was a shame that type of attitude came up. Although we do know that people have those types of attitudes, but I just wish that the author would have treated the character in a harsher manner, the boy character in a harsher manner. So anyway, la la la. Having said that, I hope it never comes up again, because I would like to continue reading this. Maybe that's poor choice of me, but anyway, I'm giving her a second chance, a third chance. Anyway, I do like this series. I did like the book. And then finally, the last book that I finished, I'd started it several months prior. I'd been reading it with a group of friends of mine from church. We're kind of in community together. And the book is called Sacred Rhythms, Arranging Our Lives for Spiritual Transformation. And it's by Ruth Haley Barton. I have a very old copy. They've come up with a new edition with a different cover, but still the same. The content is awesome. It talks about the spiritual disciplines. So it covers silence and solitude, self-examine, the discipline of Sabbath, which that was particularly meaningful for me. My husband and I have decided to take on Sabbath keeping a little more religiously, no pun intended, but to make a rhythm of it. So we went through the different things that we want to do, things that are life-giving, things that minister to our souls, like reading books, and not doing some other things. Like, I've decided not to shop on Sunday. I've decided not to do big, like household chores on Sunday. And so it takes some planning and some preparation, but it's really been a joy for us. And yeah, so, and then she talks about how we can make these patterns of our lives, and how when we do that, they become a way to make space for spiritual transformation. So anyway, I highly recommend this book. I recommend Ruth Haley Barton. She has a podcast. I'll try to link it below. I can't think of the exact name of it right now, but she's very good, and she has other books than just this one, so check her out. Anyway, that's it. So I'm under 15 minutes. Yay! This will be my short one, my short October wrap-up. So I hope you had a fabulous Victober and a fabulous October. I hope you're off to a great start in November. And let me know in the comments what you read, if you've read any of the books I've mentioned. Yeah, what was your favorite book last month? What are you looking forward to this month? Please feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks for spending some time with me. And I hope every book is a good book. And I hope you're kind to yourself and to others. Have a good day.